What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be going over working with speed on Adobe Premiere Pro. And in order to work with speed, we're going to also have to be working with keyframes, which is something that is going to be new that I want to explain to you guys. Now, before we get started with anything, my computer here at home, the way I have my videos and everything set up is very different than the ones at school. But you guys have most of your folders saved either on your documents or on your video folders. And so just make sure that you create a folder. You can go to new and new folder and create a folder called lesson 5 working with speed, and then double click inside, create a new folder, call it projects, create a new folder, call it audio, and create a new folder and call it video. And then the videos that we're going to be using are going to be the videos from lesson 4, and then the audio that we're going to be using is going to be the audio from lesson 4, but you can just have the folders in there just for safekeeping, and then under project, that's where you're going to save your work. So before anything else, we're going to go ahead and go into Adobe Premiere Pro and make sure that you click new project. When you click new project, it's going to ask you where do you want to save this and what is it going to be called. This is going to be lesson 05 working with speed, and then browse, and then just make sure that you go into, in your case, you're going to go into your lesson 5 videos or documents folder, but I'm going to go in here, lesson 5 project, save it, and then click create. Once you click create, you'll be able to see, and then head over to your lesson 5 right here, and then there you go. And that's going to be where you'll be able to grab your files and work on your files from there. Okay, so for this video, what we're going to be working with is going to be these files right here. We're going to go ahead and work with MVI 0011 all the way to 18. So from 11 to 18 right here, all these. Now, if you don't know how to click multiple, you can select the very first one, hold shift on your keyboard, and then press the last one that you want. That'll select all the videos that you need. Now, with that being said, we're going to head over into Premiere Pro, and we're just going to drag them in here. This is a different way to put videos in. I just want to make sure that all of you guys know different methods and ways to add your videos in. Now, by the way, I am currently set to my color workspace. I'm going to switch over to editing so that it kind of looks a little bit more like yours. And then I'm going to reset my editing so that it definitely looks like yours. Now, we have this video here, all of these videos that we're going to be working with, right? So we're going to drag one of these videos in here, right? Doesn't matter which one at the moment. And then we want to make sure that we change the name of our sequence. We do not want to leave the sequence with the same name. So make sure you double click right here, lesson 05, and then working with speed. All right, now that we have working with speed, we have this video in here, and it kind of plays like this. Save me a spot. Don't want the audio, so as of right now, you can see you can mute it, but there are ways that we can get rid of the audio, and that is to right-click on the video, and you'll see right here where it says unlink. We can go ahead and click unlink, and then that separates the audio and the video, so we can go ahead and delete this part of the video. So now we're just left with the video, and we don't have any more audio in here. I'm gonna go ahead and move my camera up here so you guys can see. Maybe put it a little bit bigger, because all we need right now is this area right here. Now, once we're here, you're going to notice that when you put your mouse over these little light gray lines that are right here, you can drag this up, and you can make your layers a little bit bigger. You want to make it big enough to where you can see this little diamond icon with the arrows. That little diamond icon is called a keyframe, and that's what's going to allow us to go ahead and edit this video the way we want to edit the video. We're going to right click right here, show keyframes, and then go to time remapping, and then go to speed, and that'll give us a straight line to control speed. And then we'll use our keyframes here to go ahead and play around with speed. But before we do that, let me go ahead and show you how keyframes work, what they are, and so on and so forth. So a lot of the times when you're going to add keyframes, you're going to see something that looks like a stopwatch. A stopwatch will start your keyframes for you. So for examples, if I go into effect controls and I open up opacity, you'll notice right here that there is a little stopwatch, right? So the stopwatch will turn on the keyframes, and the keyframes look like little diamonds, right? So how does an animation work when you're working with the diamonds, right? So an animation means that you have one keyframe, right? Keyframe number one. And then you have keyframe number two, where you tell it to do something else, right? And then whatever you tell it to do, that little icon, shape, video, whatever, will do that animation. Might not make sense right now, but bear with me. It's going to make a little bit more sense here. So pretend this is a square, and well, it's not, it is a square. And I want the square to do this, and then for it to move up, and then for it to go across, and then for it to come down, and then for it to come back this way, right? So in order for me to do that, I need to set a keyframe where I tell it, hey, I want you to be at 0 right here in position, right? Then I want you to move over here, but I want you to stay at 0. So I don't want you to go higher. I want you to stay there at 0. But over here, I want you to move to 50 in height. I want you to stay in 50 in height. Then I want you to go back to 0 and then back to 0, right? And it kind of gives you that motion, right, of how you want this shape to move through, right? Maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but hopefully that'll make a little bit more sense here, right? So we have this video, and I kind of wanted to play slow right here. And then once it starts zooming in, I wanted to just zoom in and then slow down again right here at the very end, right? So how am I going to do that? I'm going to go right here, give or take, right around there. And I'm going to play, actually, I don't really like the beginning, so I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to play right around here. So at 1 second and 16 frames, I'm going to add a keyframe, right? That's going to be my first keyframe that's determining where I put everything, right? So that one right here, all this is going to play slow. Then all of this is going to play fast. And then the end is going to go slow, right? So I've added 2 keyframes, right? Everything in the middle I can control, and everything out here I can control. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to lower this to around 30%. I'm going to lower this to around 30%. And then the middle part, I'm going to higher it to around 3000%. And you don't have to be perfect. You just kind of have to give or take right there, 30%. So now you notice that I have this. This is going really slow, and then whoosh, and then back to slow, right? So you can then control it. I'm going to move this in here. I felt like the speed just wasn't fast enough, so I'm going to go ahead and go all the way up to 6000%. And then just do this. There we go. So that feels like it runs a lot faster, and it gives us a nice little effect here. And then it slows down again, right? Now it's a little jaggedy right here on the speed, so we're gonna go ahead and do something that's a little bit complicated. We're gonna click on these little arrows and stretch them out just a little bit, just like so. There we go. This is going to be a little bit hard, so bear with it if you're not really grasping how it works. And then right here on these little handles, we can kind of curve this. This is just making it so that the animation doesn't run so jaggedy and all that. And then we're gonna go ahead and bring this back out, right? And then slow again. So now we can make this video a little bit smaller here because I don't want that much footage. And then I can place that video here, and that'll be my first video. Here's the second video that we have, and on this one it looks like we're zooming into the logo. So we'll start it right around here. I'm going to put mark in. Hold on, let me move myself. So as I'm testing to see where I want this video, I'm going to around, again, I'm double clicking here, and I'm going to around right around here when it kind of starts moving a little bit. And I'm going to put mark in. That's going to make it so that it doesn't give me any of the rest of that video. It zooms in, and that's the end of the video. So I'm only going to grab the video only, so that I don't grab the audio, and that way I don't have to unlink and delete, right? Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to right click, show keyframes, time, and then go to speed, right? So here we get to determine where we want the stuff. So let's say right around here, maybe we'll go ahead and add a keyframe, and then we'll go back, and right around here we'll add another keyframe. So again, we're going to put this middle part all the way to around 6,000. Right there. And then this part right here, we're going to drop it down to around, let's do 40 for this one, or 39, I guess. And then for this one, do the same thing. Let's do about 40. There we go, 40. I'm gonna go ahead and move myself again. And then the video again became a little bit too long. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this short so we don't see the whole thing. And then place it right here. And so it goes like this. And it has that nice little effect right there. And again, we're going to zoom into this little part right here. And we're just going to click on these little guys and try to stretch them out just a little bit. Right there. And then once they're clicked, just curve this little handle by grabbing those little anchor points. And there we go. And we get this cool little effect right here, where this video goes like this. Right? Cool. Now we have this like weird cut right here, and we don't want that cut. So we're going to head over into effects, open up video transitions, and we have a couple of different transitions here that we can use. You can play around with which ones you use, but you drag them somewhere in the middle and it does something like that, you know. Now we can go over into our music. So we're going to double click in here, go into Premiere Project, and then go into Digital Media, Lesson 5, Audio. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose, I don't know, whichever song feels like might work with this. Owl Cities, Fireflies. Sure. This one I believe doesn't have music or audio, I mean, so we could kind of play this. So kind of cool. We could maybe try to aim for this right here. So let's go ahead and put this like that. Go to our effects, search for dip to black, and this kind of awesome. noting that you can make effects right here. If we zoom into this area of the song is an effect, right? That kind of sounds whoosh, whoosh, whatever, right? We're gonna grab that. We're going to hold Alt on our keyboard and we're just going to drag that down. And that's going to create a copy, and we can move that to this area right here. Go here, zoom it in, and kind of do this a little bit. Like a cool effect here. That is what working with the keyframes kind of feels like. Now, here's something that I wanted to show you guys so that you could also kind of practice. So for this one, this number 13, we're going to grab the video only and we're going to drag it up here on the top, right? And we're going to make it short so that it only plays for a little bit. Once it's at the top, you notice that we no longer see the videos in the bottom, right? So if we select that video and we head over to the beginning, we can head over to effect controls as long as that one is selected, and we can open up opacity, and then we'll open up the arrow for opacity again. Now remember I told you all about the stopwatch? Remember we were talking about that, the little stopwatch? That's how you start it, and then you can add your keyframes. So we're going to go ahead and do that right here, where we're going to add the stopwatch on that video. So for this one, you'll notice right here that I've created a keyframe, and that keyframe right now is at 100%. As long as we're still on that keyframe, we can switch that to 0%, and the video will now be transparent, right? This video plays. Maybe right here, right after that first boom, right, we want to add another keyframe. Remember, it's going 0, 0, right? Now when we move just a little bit higher, we can put this at 100, and all of a sudden we see this one. We'll add another keyframe, and then right here put it at 0. And you can see in here. I wish I could zoom into it, but it's kind of hard. Or maybe I can, I guess, like this. But you can see the effect happening where this is at 0, this is at 0, and then it starts moving up to 100, and then it drops back down to 0, and the other one plays. Now, all this might be a little bit confusing, but I want you to try to do it with this song, the Taylor Swift song, and I want you to then use these exact videos that I did right here to try to make this little section right here, and then use the remaining videos, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, for you to come up with your own little effects of how you can kind of play around with these ideas, right? And then end it at like around, let's say 20 seconds. You don't have to do that much because I really want you guys to like overlap some of these videos and kind of play around with them. Again, remember that you can grab this to make layers taller. And you can also use this to kind of stretch and show your videos, or scroll through your videos if needed. Okay. If you guys have any questions or any of these feels confusing, just let me know and I'll go ahead and try to help you guys out as best as I can. Just remember, once you're done with your video, go ahead and select this area, go to, or make sure everything is cut the way you need it, and delete everything else. Go to export, and then make sure that this is set to match adaptive high bitrate, And then right here, make sure it says lesson 5, working with speed. Click here. Make sure you save it to your lesson 5 folder outside right here. Save and then click export. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.